Hello, everybody on YouTube. Well, I would like to have a little conversation about strange topics. One in particular is the guitar. And I don't know if you've noticed this, but I have noticed a lot of people play the guitar lately. And I play the guitar. And a lot of trannies play the guitar, if you haven't noticed. And I've always wondered, is there some sort of strange link between transsexuals and the boredom to play guitar? I have no idea, but I've played the guitar for 8 years now, and I tried to start when I was 16. And anyway, it's always been a battle between me and the fact that I used to be in a band. I used to sing in a punk metal band, and I wrote all the lyrics and used to come up with all the vocals and stuff. And after the band broke up, I mean, our guitar player, he got killed. He was hit by a semi-truck texting happy birthday to somebody. It was very sad. It destroyed us. But after that, I continued to write. And anyway, it's always been a sort of well, it's like a stigma, you know? I mean, you don't hear about a lot of famous transsexual rockers who actually make it in the music industry. And I, for years have tried to write songs and struggled and stuff, and sort of put off transitioning and battled with it whether or not I should do it because of me wanting to rock, you know? I used to try to write commercial music that I thought that, maybe, I could release someday or something, which I still do. I still do think about stuff like that. But then as I've gotten older, the realities have kicked in and made me realize, life is short and it's too short to keep fucking around like this. So if I'm going to transition, then I need to transition and do it and transition from male to female. So now right now I'm at a standstill where my life has been put on hold for a while. And like I said, I started transitioning in October 2010, right when my friend got killed, and it was a 22-hour train ride from Texas up here to Taylorville for the funeral, and I decided to just stay up here. I'm not in Taylorville anymore, unfortunately. I had to get out of there, but I got a great job at this call center there, and I started, working on things. One of the things that I've been trying to work on was finding my female voice, and this is something I've struggled with and I'm still struggling with. Now, I've done the whole shebang where, you practice it for months and months, and maybe you think it's starting to sound good, and then you go and record it and play it back, and then maybe it doesn't sound so good. And then I've noticed on some occasions, if I'm trying really good, if I'm trying really hard or whatever, I'm really not trying that hard right now, but if I really put a lot into it, I can make a good recording and it'll sound feminine. I did some poetry where I read poetry on a tape recorder and read 10 poems that I had wrote and played them for my stepsister and my sister, and they'd said that they thought it sounded feminine, like a female. And but then other times if my voice is strained, it seems more difficult, and I've tried the whole, and all that, and it actually does help get your voice up there. I mean, if you catch your voice lowering in pitch, like going down here, going down here, going down here into this range, go, and it will kind of raise it back up until you get it up into your throat. I have also noticed that if you stretch your throat out, it kind of makes it easier. But that is sort of a bad habit because you don't want to always have to talk with your throat stretched out like that. And when I worked at the call center, I used to catch myself doing it a lot because I'd be on the phone with people, and I would notice that when I'm talking to customers, if I was really, really concentrating too much, I would notice that I would have my neck stretched out like crazy. And, you don't always want to have to be dependent on that because you should, that, sometimes you're going to have to have your head down like this, or maybe, you're bending down to grab something off the ground and you have to talk. So it's really important that you practice your voice in all different positions rather than just doing it that way. So, yeah, so also I wanted to talk about, my male features. Now, this has been a debacle with me and some people that I've talked to about it. Honestly, FFS, if you can afford it, I guess you could go for it. It can be dangerous. Hopefully, after you do hormones, it'll soften the features enough to where you won't worry about it. Hopefully. But until you get on the hormones, it's gonna fuck with your head. Pardon my French. It's gonna mess with your head. Yeah, and that can be a pain. But, you can always wear a scarf. It gets hot in the summer, and wearing scarves are hot. I'm sorry, but they are. I've done the scarf thing. I have scarves. I try wearing them. It gets awfully damn hot, and that can be a real issue, as far as, trying to hide your Adam's apple. I've even tried, swallowing my Adam's apple, where you swallow it like this. You notice it sort of disappears there for a moment if you do that. But you have to hold your breath to do that, and it's very uncomfortable, and you can only pull it off for maybe a few seconds before you have to catch your breath if you're walking or something, and that gets annoying. You shouldn't have to do that. So tracheal shave is something I'm very interested in, and I'm not concerned really as much about anything else as I am wanting to get my jaw redone. Just sort of, I've always hated how male puberty makes your jaw get these extra little bumps right here that you don't need. And right here, I have a very defined jaw. Here, if you notice, I'll show you. You see right here. So I've been told that the hormones will help soften this, but I'm also concerned with it just being so out there. I have seen some really beautiful women have some very defined jaws before, and hopefully, I can join them if that's how it ends up being. But yeah, it's a major issue for me. It really is, and it's something that bothers me as a trans person, and I know that it bothers you all too if you are dealing with it like I am. I've noticed that there are some trans people who are just so lucky, oh my god, to not be born with these big, massive jaws. I could run for president of the United States, I swear. I read this thing a long time ago. It said that every president who's ever served has had a very masculine jaw. And I do, so I don't want to be president of the United States. So, yeah, so they gave it to me for no reason. Yeah. But, yeah, that can be a major issue. I would love to hear some comments about this. Please, no negative comments. If you're going to leave a comment with me on my channel, please make it pleasant, because I'm very sensitive and I will misunderstand you very, very easily. And as to Miss Mac, wasn't trying to start a debacle with you earlier. You woke me up out of bed with your comment this morning and kind of caught me off guard. But after I've sat and thought about it, it doesn't bother me. I understand what you meant. So, anyway, toodles.